When are you going to grow up?
I'm never going to grow up, and I don't want to grow up.
I'd like to stay a kid my whole life.
Never. I haven't grown up, and I don't intend to ever grow up.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Alistair Ping. I'm here to launch the book with Daniel. It's fantastic to see so many people here, and this is, I think, a very important book.
When I was 32, I hadn't had a rite of passage, and I'd done a lot of stupid things. Unfortunately, I'd survived, and I found out I was going to become a dad. Now, I struggled with that. I really struggled, and part of the struggle, as I remember, was because I didn't want to grow up. I was very clear, I didn't want to grow up. I have a chapter in the book called Getting Forked into Growing Up, because it was like a crossroad for me. I had the choice to either grow up and become a good dad, or bugger off. And there was the third option, could have been, stay around and be a bad dad, but for me that was kind of like buggering off, only you're still around. And fortunately, Beth was very patient with me and gave me some space to be really cranky and really uncommunicative, and I got my head around it. And I've loved being a dad. I have loved being a dad. If someone had waited till I was ready to grow up, he could still be waiting. And he's not, and he's down the front row, and you know how much I love you, what a gift. Coming into my life, raising children is huge, and we have this culture now where it's efficient to put them into daycare, and that's bullshit. It's just bullshit, because parenting is not a one-way street. Parenting is a two-way street, and our children have so many gifts for us, so many lessons, and just the joy that they can bring to us if we're there is so important. So I didn't want Sam to wait till he was 32 to grow up. So I watched Pathways for a while, and Elijah McLeod, a good friend, he said to me, why don't you come and do the leadership training? And I did. I didn't want to, and I made a lot of excuses, but I did it. And that was my introduction to Rites of Passage. And it's profound to be on a program where it's not about you, where you're supporting men and their boys, boys to go through that threshold, to become young men, is a real gift, because it was, it's not about you, it's about serving, and people talk about that a lot. So once I was introduced to Rites of Passage, I've done a lot of research on the area, and contemporary Rites of Passage, is, I believe, the way to really get the conversation about growing up going. And we can do that through existing structures. We can do that through schools, for example. It can be run as a whole year 9 sort of conversation. Because what traditional societies knew, at a time when they didn't have MRI or brain scans, is they knew that period between 13 to 15 or so for our young people was a time of neuroplasticity, where the brain's doing a huge amount of reorganising. And that if we don't work with them then and start those neural pathways going about growing up and taking responsibility, and the use of power, using power appropriately, not just to dominate people, then there is the possibility that that won't happen for a long time. And that's certainly my observation, looking around. So, what do you think when I say the words grow up?
When are you going to lose interest in life?